Well, let's take this from the top and we'll go ahead and get started here since we're a few minutes behind. But yeah, this has been good stuff. And I feel like we're going to be doing these with you, Eric, a lot more often. So I'm excited to have you teach us about your marketing that you're doing since we went over the iPad acquisition system last time. And if anybody listening or viewing this would like to see Eric's iPad system, go ahead and hit me up via email, joe at seattlerealestateinvesting.com, and I will give you the link to that presentation and you can get it right away. So without further ado, though, Eric, I'm just going to hand it over to you. For those people that have not listened to any of our talks before, man, I don't necessarily know that we need to go over everything again. Eric and I have been best friends for a long time. I was actually writing a blog post about that earlier, Eric, about
Mhm.
chrysalis and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's awesome that we get to continue being connected after so many years. I hate to admit it now, but we're almost 40 years old. Whoa, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but still crushing it, still getting after it, and still, great friends, although we don't get to hang out in person as much as we would like to. So Eric, I love having you on here, and please, take over and let us know all this fun marketing stuff that you've been teaching me and teach everybody.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Joe. Of course, I love it and appreciate the time, and I appreciate everybody's time for being here with me. It's always a fun thing for me to do, to jump on these calls and teach and train and kind of show off what I'm doing. I'm very passionate about real estate in general, and but really passionate about marketing and acquisitions. That's kind of my forte within the genre, and so that's what we're going to be going over. We're going to take a deep look into the marketing game, and we're going to be talking about how to win the marketing game and break that down to everything that I'm doing in the marketplace. And I have active tests and measurements going on in multiple different markets across the country. So this isn't just I don't just operate in one segment of the market or one market. I have clients that I do marketing for across the whole country. So it gives me a really wide vantage point as to what is working and what's not working, and what trends are worth following and what trends are not worth following. So at the end of the day, it's all about winning the game of marketing. So that's exactly what we're going to be going over here. So and the other thing that I wanted to bring up as we get going here is, I deeply value everybody's time. I just can't say that enough. I know we are all very, very busy people. That time is money. We hear that. We know that. And so you're taking your time now. And so just as a simple thank you for taking the time to spend with Joe and I and learning here, is I put together a resource page of all of the different resources that I'm going to be talking about in this presentation. We put it all together here on a website here. So if you, at the bottom of the screen, if you want to write that down, realestatefunnelsystems.com/resources-links on the bottom there. That page is up and functioning. Again, it just has all of the different resources that I will be covering in this presentation. So if you ever want, like, what was he saying about that? Or, what was the, data resource or whatever it is, I put everything on this website, including books that I would recommend around these topics. So again, this is just our way of saying thank you, and, just making, I want to add as much value to your business as I possibly can. That is something that I've always been very, very passionate about. So a quick little tidbit about who I am and why am I even relevant to this topic. I'll go through this really quickly because a lot of people have heard me go through this before, and so I don't want to spend too much time here. But I have a lifelong history in real estate, and so what that means is my father is a real estate appraiser. He's still appraising to this day. He is almost 70. He just actually turned 69, and still in the twilight years of appraising. And so he owned his appraisal firm when pretty much my whole life. And so around the family table. Dinner table conversations were around real estate or appraising of some level or whatever else. It's just kind of the family business. So I got right into that right out of high school. I went and got my appraisal license way back in let's see, year 2000, and started appraising with my father right out of the gate. And that was my quote unquote trade that I picked as a real estate professional, and went through all that schooling and appraised full time for 6 years. That's really was my bread and butter, and that's the foundation of how I look through the lens that I look through real estate through is the appraising lens. Then I transitioned. I got my broker's license in 2005, and then in 2006 I met Joe and I actually. Joe and I, we were, kind of, he was just out of college and I was, hunting around as an entrepreneur, and we ended up stumbling into these guys, the Fortune Builders. And so this goes way back. You can see in one of those photos there, Joe and I, when the day that we joined the mastery program with Fortune Builders, and we met Than and Paul, JD, the whole group there in 2006. And I went to their first rehab boot camp and was really heavily involved as a student, providing case studies and things like this of my business. And that led me into, building Seattle real estate investing with Joe. Joe and I, we put this site and business together where we were wholesaling properties in the Seattle area for a number of years. And so we were, I turned into kind of a well-rounded real estate professional as a appraiser, as a broker, as an investor, wholesaler. I was really in the game from all levels. And that being so as involved as I was in Fortune Builders, I got right into coaching. They invited me to be a field coach, is what they call it. So somebody that was I was helping students entering into the game of real estate and implementing the Fortune Builder systems and ultimately building their business. And so that kind of led me into flying all over the country teaching. And at that time I got bitten by the coach's bug, and I just, developed this true passion for coaching, teaching, and helping others grow their business and passing along the years and years of knowledge that I had been picking up. So not only was I exposed as a coach and doing that, but I also, as a side effect of being around the Fortune Builder community, as tight as that was, and as much time as I was spending there, I inherently got coached by some of the most influential mentors that you could ever imagine. So I got to spend a lot of one-on-one time with Than Merrill as I was growing. Blair Singer was another teacher that I spent a lot of time with to understand the art of facilitation and teaching, and Andy Tanner for sales was a big influence in my life. And then last but not least, Christy Miller from an NLP perspective. I started studying NLP years ago, neuro linguistics programming, years and years ago, as far as the art of behavior, or the language patterns, and the art of influence and rapport and everything else is heavily based on NLP. And I started studying that years ago, but just recently took it to another level and got certified as an NLP practitioner. And that's just kind of another continuing education piece that I brought to the marketing game, and to myself as a business professional. So, and I really had the fortunate seat of running all of the marketing and acquisitions for CT Homes down here in San Diego. So I was recruited by Fortune Builders out of Seattle down to San Diego, where their home office is, and as one of their speaker trainers. And that led me into not only teaching it, but then doing the business for CT Homes down here. So I led all of their marketing and acquisitions. And this is our team right here. This team right that you're looking at on the screen, we were responsible for doing over 100 transactions a year right there. And so we enjoyed what we do, and that was a big part of my learning curve, just being able to live it every single day, not only doing it for CT Homes here in San Diego, but then teaching it on a national basis, and networking with all of these different real estate entrepreneurs about growing their business, which was so valuable to me. Um, and something I always quote Tony Robbins whenever I'm doing these presentations, largely because Tony Robbins was such a massive influence in my life. And this is something that's always stuck with me. If you want to be successful, then find somebody who has achieved the result that you want and copy what they do, and you'll achieve the same result. And that statement or quote has, I mean, nothing has rung more true in my life. You know, whenever I see people that have what I want as far as a result, man, I go study them, I go watch them, I go do it. And I think that my path is really a result of that. And a couple of years ago, I got recruited out of the Fortune Builder and CT Homes arena and got invited over to an REIG, a renovation team, which is a home buyer in Southern California here. And they had more leads than they knew what to do with. They needed somebody to go in there and convert and build out the acquisition process for their company. And so that's what I did. In that process, I did over 300 seller appointments myself that year, building out their process and their system and everything else. And that was another tremendous learning year for me, is just getting better and better at out in the field and meeting with sellers and presenting offers and doing the evaluations and understanding, you know, our clients' motivations. You know, when you do this many seller appointments like I was doing, you really get in tune with why people are making the decisions that they are with regards to selling their house. What pain points are showing up consistently? What solutions can we offer them? How do we speak to those solutions? And then how do we ultimately, you know, the better you know your audience, the better that you can craft a message to their needs. So it's very relevant to translate what all of the information that you gather from your clients or potential clients out in the field, and bringing that intelligence back to your marketing. And so you can start implementing and speaking to their pain points at a deeper level. And whenever you can do that, you're going to be establishing a better level of connection and interest in whatever you're doing. So I am always very aware of that connection there. So and then, you know, last but not least, you know, I've already talked about this a little bit, but this is a big part of my continuing education, or me, you know, continuing to level up my skill sets. And NLP, if you've never heard of NLP, neuro linguistics programming, you should absolutely check it out, study it, understand it, get a book on it. It is, the power of your subconscious mind is staggering. We are all affected by it, whether we realize it or not, whether we have any awareness of the pool or the influence that our subconscious mind has on our value systems, our speech patterns, on so many different things, how we build rapport, all of that. Man, this is a topic we're studying, and so I dove in and got my certifications in all of this here recently, and again, it just continues to help me as a marketer and as an acquisition sales guy, all of it. So just food for thought. If you want to get better, an arena to study is NLP for sure. So hopefully you've written that down and can take some good action on it. Now, so I want to get into, like, so what is the problem? What are we here to talk about? Okay, marketing is important. We know that. But what is the problem within marketing that I really want to bring to light or solve with you guys and bring light in on this? most real estate investors simply don't have a very well diverse marketing approach. They don't have a good marketing plan or a well-rounded marketing plan, and that's really, really important. I see this all the time. People will do, kind of focus on one marketing campaign and let that go, whether that's a postcard campaign or a direct mail campaign, and that's quote unquote that's their marketing effort. That's where it pretty much stops. Or they'll get a website up and they're not doing any other marketing. So what I'm going to be highlighting is how to create a diverse marketing plan, so that you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket per se. You want to diversify your marketing message. You want to make it so it's widespread, so that your chances of connecting with your audience just continues to go up. So that's a big problem that I'm going to be highlighting is not having diversified marketing. And then the next thing is most people don't know their numbers, and if you don't know your numbers, it's really hard to scale your marketing in any one direction. If you don't know what's working really well, then how do you capitalize on results, good or bad? It's a double-edged sword. So just like you want to capitalize on marketing campaigns that are working really well, you also want to reduce your efforts on the campaigns that are not working very well. And so I know that sounds like a very obvious statement, which it is, but unfortunately, most people don't collect the proper information to know that, to know which, hey, go this direction versus that direction, or do more of this and less of that. You need to know your numbers and your conversion ratios in order for that to be effective. So again, most people don't have a very diverse marketing plan in general. And then even if they do, most people aren't doing the sufficient amount of tracking to understand, hey, what's your response rate? Of those responses, how many of those were leads? And then of those leads went to appointments, and how many offers were made, all of that. There's a whole story to be told there. And so I'm a big stickler on metrics, and how you measure things really, really matters. So we want to get away from inconsistent results and lack of clarity. And the better we do this, the better our marketing is going to get. And our marketing should always be evolving. It's always getting better. Our marketing efforts are never stagnant. You're either growing or shrinking. I believe that. So you can't just stay put when it comes to marketing. You got to have your pulse on there. You got to know what is working, what's not, and form an opinion as to why, right? Or a theory as to why one marketing strategy is working better than the other one. Pay attention to it and then adjust it. Okay. So as we get into the different marketing strategies and what works and what doesn't work and everything else, and I'll be talking to that. But the first and most important thing that I want everybody to really understand, this is the core fundamental, this is the foundation of what any good marketer bases their whole experiments on, and on so many different levels. You got to be willing to test different marketing campaigns, test different things. So when you're testing a campaign, that can be just a new campaign in itself. Hey, I'm going to test this letter as a campaign. I'm going to test a postcard. I'm going to test this strategy or that strategy. You got to be willing to do different experiments, different tests. It always starts with, what test are you currently running? Once you have your marketing campaigns going and you're testing different strategies, now your ability to track the results, it becomes absolutely critical. So now you're testing a campaign, but your test is only as good as your ability to track it. So you got to be able to track your results. Everything from how much money you're spending on your campaign, to how many units are being sent out, to the response rate, the response to lead to appointments, and appointments to conversion. That's essentially the metrics that I'm tracking. All of that really matters. Once you get your tracking down, you need to then evaluate your tracking. So evaluate your results. So know what happened. Again, you get your result, you're tracking it, take the time to evaluate it, and with a critical eye. Okay, based on these results, my cost per lead is this, and I need to, get my cost per lead down. So what other tests and experiment am I going to be doing to get better results? Once you're understanding your testing, tracking, and evaluating process, this is your opportunity to then improve it. Okay, so everything that you track, you typically improve. So this is again, just once you know your numbers, it's really easy to say, wow, that response rate on that marketing campaign was really bad, especially compared to this marketing campaign over here. And so I'm going to stop spending money that direction, and I'm going to spend more money on this direction, so that you're always kind of 80-20ing your results. Mostly like 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. That is something that I believe in, and it could even be 90-10. 90% of your results come from 10% of your effort. And so if you understand that concept and you're really in tune with it, this is your chance to always, track, test, track, evaluate, then improve, is your ability to then decipher which is the direction you want to go. So this is the foundation of how I approach all my marketing. Every campaign that I do, my mindset going into it, everything is around this track. I can't emphasize this anymore. Like if you got nothing out of this training outside of just the pattern of testing, tracking, evaluating, and improving whatever marketing campaign you're doing, you will eventually get better just by principle if you continue to do this. Okay, so I want us all to have a great understanding and stand on this as the foundation of everything that we're doing moving forward. Okay, from this point forward, I'm going to show you exactly the different techniques that I do, but every technique that I do, whether it's direct mail, text message campaigns, or whatever it is, they all stand on that fundamental. They all stand on that foundation that I just covered: testing, tracking, evaluating, and improving, period. Okay, so now marketing the marketing game has gotten more and more complex. In my opinion, it used to be back in the day that we would just send out letters to a foreclosure list, and that's pretty much all that really mattered, and the phone rang, and we used the spreadsheet to keep track of certain things a little bit, and it was just a very simple time. With technology and with the way today's marketing is, different avenues and channels that we have at our fingertips, everything has gotten a little bit more complex. So I built this slider representing, like, hey, this is there's a lot to it, and it's easier said than done. I know that for sure. So we're going to try to break this down a little bit more than just this. So I'm a huge advocate of working with the best. I don't believe in a one size fits all, or one program that does everything really well. I'd love to think that someday that there's going to be a all-encompassing platform, and I'm sure there's going to be somebody that listens to this and says, oh, I know this silver bullet over here, or whatever. But that's fine, and I would never want to deny that it could or does exist. I just haven't personally seen it. And as far as like the silver bullet of a platform. Now, understanding what makes a really good marketing engine in general is the first and most important step. If you understand what makes a good marketing engine as a whole, that way you can better analyze the other resources that are available. Okay, so I'm going to be breaking each one of these down, and it largely starts with your property data. So we use a program called PropStream, and to do all of our data hunting or data mining, if you will, to find and curate our lists. We do all of that in property prop stream. So it starts with knowing your audience. Knowing your audience is in developing your lists is the first step in your marketing plan. Then having your tracking and call recording set up so that all of your marketing effort, you need to be able to track how many calls came from which campaign. And CallRail allows for call tracking to exist and to have multiple different marketing numbers that all get funneled down to one spot so that you can then know exactly, hey, this letter developed 5 phone calls, and this letter over here developed or created 25 phone calls. Well, you know which one's more effective, right? So CallRail and call tracking is critical to that process. I use direct mail, and I use Go Big Printing out of Southern California here. They've been really good to work with. Andy there, the owner of the company, has been a tremendous asset to me, and I've done a lot of business with them. So having a good relationship with a print house is important. We're getting more and more into Facebook marketing, and specifically Facebook marketing with Messenger Bot. I'm going to break that down a little bit more later on. We also do text message marketing, ringless voicemail marketing, so cell phone marketing. We then channel everything into landing pages. So all of these different avenues will the leads, if they want to pursue, get more information online, then we have landing pages set up for them to go. And the landing page is a website that's simply designed to give the client enough information for them to take action. It's an action-based website. So we use ClickFunnels to develop all of our landing pages, and we have a bunch of different real estate templates and marketing templates in ClickFunnels that we actually give away. So if you are interested in expanding your ClickFunnels game or getting into the ClickFunnels game, definitely reach out, because we have some templates, done for you templates, that you can literally just plug and play. So keep that in mind with the ClickFunnels. SEO, getting your search engine optimized, is a huge part of just your online footprint. And so we highly recommend the Carrot websites. The Carrot websites have been around for a long time, and they are phenomenal for SEO juice and just getting ranked. So if you're interested in getting your website, your local business website ranked on Google, man, Investor Carrot is a great resource to utilize. That's what we use with great success. And then having all of this information, all of these different marketing channels, they need to end up going somewhere. And so having a really good CRM set up for your business as a lead tracker, where you take all your notes and where you handle all your conversion, is paramount. So all of this can fall apart if you're not tracking your leads and really curating and the follow-up process and in your communication style. It all needs to be done at the highest level, and having a good CRM is the critical component to that. So this is kind of the life cycle that we use, and the resources that we put together for not only for our business here in San Diego, but for our clients all over the country. So this is a really, really important step here. The next thing that we do is we really concentrate on omnipresent marketing message. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have heard the term omnipresent much. It seems like it's a buzzword anymore to me. In my world, I'm just kind of hearing omnipresent from a lot of different places. But I think it's a strong concept and something worth mentioning, because this is our mindset as marketers in today's world, is how can we create a omnipresent marketing message? Okay, so let's define what is omnipresent. When I say that, and what's an omnipresent marketing message, this is what it means to me, is having your marketing message reach your client from many different angles, all consistently happening, so that your marketing message is surrounding them. Okay. That is what having a omnipresent marketing message is. It's a very strategic way of providing your marketing that makes the client feel like, man, everywhere I look, this company is in front of me. That, you know, whether it's your Facebook ad, your whatever you're doing, you're surrounding your client. And that's really, really what we focus on, and what you're going to be able to see in my marketing plan here is how the omnipresent approach really shows up. Okay, and this is building on the concept that, you know, you need to get your marketing message out in front of somebody. The science will tell you it's at least 5 to 7 times somebody needs to see your marketing message before they will actually take action. So if you're waiting for 7 letters to get to them, that's a very, very expensive marketing plan, and only one directional as a letter, as an example. So what we do is we'll send a letter. We're in their Facebook, we're text messaging them, we're on their internet, we're everywhere surrounding them. Okay, and that's what brings me to this. This is the flow chart of our marketing plan. So again, it all starts with a good marketing list. You know, that is the cornerstone of everything. When you're marketing to people, you want to know who your audience is. So and a good reliable data source. So we use PropStream. That's where we get our list. Once we get our list, we put them on a 5 to 6 touch campaign. So our first touch to that list will be a letter. We use a professional letter that we send. Then the next touch that we'll do is a ringless voicemail drop. So that's what RVM stands for, ringless voicemail drop. So we'll send a ringless voicemail drop. And the key to this is that we want our marketing message to reference our other marketing message. So it's like we'll send a letter, then our ringless voicemail drop will have a message, something to the effect of, hey, hi, this is Eric from San Diego Direct Home Buyers. I had sent you a couple of letters looking to get a hold of you. If you are interested in selling your house on any level, know that we are actively buying in your neighborhood and would love to talk to you about it. Okay. That's an example of a ringless voicemail drop. So again, it's pointing to the fact that we've been sending you letters, trying to get a hold of you. We'd love to talk to you about selling your house if you're interested. Okay. After that message, we'll send a postcard. Okay. We'll keep a really simple postcard. Then after the postcard, we'll send a text message. And then after the text message, we'll send another text message. So that you can see how, okay, we're hitting their mailbox, their ringless voicemail, and their text message. So you can see the omnipresence starting to show up. Not only that, but then we'll load our audience list up into Facebook. And once we get our custom audience up into Facebook, the same people that we're sending the letter and the ringless voicemail and stuff, we can start running our Facebook ads directly to them. Okay. And so now they're seeing us in their Facebook scroll. Okay, all the time with our ads and everything else. Then if they interact with our ads, we can then kick off retargeting campaigns. So then we can start following them around the internet. Okay, so you can see how this is starting to build on itself. If they get through, you know, the letters and the ringless voicemail and the Facebook ads, they're either going to call at this stage the phone number that we've been marketing with, or they'll go to the website that we've been marketing to them. And the website is a landing page. It's a ClickFunnels landing page that is specific to their needs. So if we're marketing to foreclosure people, then we have a landing page that is in line with the foreclosure process. And same for if we are marketing to probates, then we're not talking about foreclosures on that website. We're talking about the probate process. So it's really having that inline message all the way through your quote unquote funnel. so that once they've heard your voicemail drop, or once they've gotten a letter from you, they want to go online. When they go to that URL that you've marketing to them, that message on that landing page is consistent to their scenario, to their situation. And that level of congruency is really, really important to build trust and an alignment. Obviously, you want to relate with them. They want to work with people they're going to relate with. So that's what's happening as you go through this process. Once they opt in or call, then it's a matter of getting them into your database, your CRM, and having then automatic drip campaigns that go in after that, so that your lead is always nurtured. So when they get into our database, the automated follow-up process that we initiate is an email campaign, a text, then email, then a text. So it goes email, text, email, text. Okay, that's how we do our drip campaign after this. I'm sure you can start to see how this, once you get into our funnel, we're surrounding our people until they ask to be removed from our list. They are going to get this level of marketing exposure again until they respond to us and ask to be removed. Once they are removed, they are off the list, and we totally go a different direction. But man, that is the epitome right there of an omnipresent marketing approach. Okay. Here I want to highlight the data side of it. So kind of, starting back at the very beginning, knowing your client and having a database where you can search and find your clients for who they are, and so that your marketing message and your strategy is in line with them. This has been working with PropStream has been a huge advantage to us in this category. We're able to really dial in our niche clients. We're really able to peel back multiple layers of information to hone in on our exact client's motivation. This has been incredible. So you can see right on the top of the screen, how many pre-foreclosures are in this market, or foreclosures, or cash buyers, or lien properties. It gives you all of this type of information, and far more actually, as far as what other information you can get. Everything from tax information, equity information, transaction history, comps. All of this is all within PropStream. It's a huge advantage. Every property that we go to evaluate, not only do we curate the marketing list from PropStream, but we also skip trace the data from PropStream. So we're able to get their, once we pull a list, we're able to then skip trace it, get the client's full name, address, cell phone number, and email address. That's a critical advantage to working with PropStream, is having the ability to get the complete client profile, so that your marketing message, so it unlocks the door of being able to send letters. You can, do the ringless voicemail drops, the text message, everything, once you have that level of information. So PropStream has been a huge advantage to us, and how our marketing game has evolved. Because once you really get into PropStream and you start utilizing it for what it is, these are some examples of how we've narrowed down our audience so that it's very specific. So it can be as simple of like, hey, out-of-state owners with negative equity, if you were looking for short sale and type of distressed properties, or vacant property with negative equity, or code violation lists with positive equity that are owned by people that are 65 years and older. And then you can even narrow that down to we want to look at or market to people that are in code violation, that have positive equity, that are 65 and older, that also live in a house that is 1,700 square feet or more. Okay, so just understand where I'm going with this. If they're in some sort of a code violation, the chances are their house is they probably have really long grass, or it's something's wrong with the property to get a code violation, you know, to get on that list. Maybe it's junk on the yard, who knows, but they've crossed the line. They got a code violation. Okay. Now they have positive equity. So they have equity to set, in order to sell the property. That's great. If we can narrow that down to people that are 65 and older, that means that they are, in the retirement age, empty nester age range. Okay. And if their house is 1,700 square feet or larger, they most likely a 2-story house. Okay. I know that's not written in stone by any stretch, but generally speaking, if a house is larger than 1,700 square feet, it's usually a 2-story house or a 1-story with a basement. So there's stairs involved. And why I'm honing in on this is because now we're talking with a person that has a code violation. Their house is probably in disrepair of something. They have equity, they're older, and they have stairs in their house. Well, I don't know about you, but I have been around so many empty nesters and or the retirement age of people that are like, man, I got to get away from these stairs. I can't go up and down the stairs any longer. I just want to sell. Okay. This is the level of thought that goes into deriving your list. Okay. I really geek out over reverse engineering these different scenarios or commonalities that of the clients that I've worked with. Okay. Free and clear properties, people that own a whole slew of properties. If you own 25 or more properties, all free and clear, there's a good chance that you're either a good landlord buyer, so somebody you want on your buyer's list, and or this person might be wanting to liquidate some of their properties. If you have 25 and you own them free and clear, there's always going to be room for selling and adjusting your portfolio in any direction. So another really great one is lien properties, houses that have liens of over $5,000 or more of liens on them, not including the mortgage lien. So this is like a mechanics lien or something like this, or they have 20% or more of equity. Their house is between 900 square feet and 3,200 square feet. So not too small and not too large, kind of, you want more of the median size home. The house is 20 plus years or older, and the person has owned the property for over 5 years. Okay, this is somebody that is a good candidate to sell their house. They have a lien, they're motivated, they have equity. This is a great place. So this is really where we spend a lot of our time, is really understanding the demographics, the different motivating factors, and using this data to create our list. So the more outside the box you can be, and the more specific that you can be with your data, the better your results are going to be in general. Okay, so don't go through this too fast. That's all what I can recommend, is don't go through that too fast. The more you know your audience, and the more time you spend really researching the list and the pain point of the list, the better your marketing message can be to that particular list. Okay, so I'm always trying to make my marketing letters and message as personable as it possibly can be. So whether we're sending a postcard or a yellow letter, we want the autofill form, or the autofill portions of your marketing message to exist. Okay, so an example here on this yellow letter is we've always put the client's name in there. So dear, then their first name goes in there. Dear Joey. Okay, and do you have any interest in selling your property at their address? And we've been able to help so many other homeowners in their city. Okay, all of these different things that just make the messaging on that letter more personable, more relatable, and just more relevant to them and to their scenario. So this is a big part of, the better you know your data, the more effective you can be on this side of the marketing message. So when we're sending letters, I generally will send a yellow letter, handwritten yellow letter, and or a simple postcard. Okay, these are the two examples of direct mail that we typically are going to be sending to our clients. Okay, the other thing that you've heard me talk about is the ringless voicemail drops and the text message marketing. So, but in general, the fastest growing segment of our marketing, or where we're putting the most marketing effort in general from a development stance and time and attention, it's all around the cell phone marketing. You're getting your marketing message to your client's cell phone. We are all, just about everybody is carrying around smartphones these days. It's no longer for the working class or for the true hardcore professionals. Just about everybody these days has got an iPhone or an Android phone or something, because texting and browsing and just our life is so integrated to our cell phones these days, and that trend is just picking up. I mean, that trend is out of control, and it's going to continue to be out of control. The better and better our cell phones are, the more time we're going to be spending on them. So having the ability to market to somebody's cell phone is by far the most effective marketing channel that you can grow within or expand on. So the ringless voicemail drops, just to be very clear, that is where you record a voicemail and then you send it off to your list, and it gets mass delivered. The client's phone does not ring. All of a sudden their phone will just pop up with hey, a voicemail's been delivered to you. And it's usually this point of confusion. Most people on this call, if you're listening here, have experienced this or have gotten a ringless voicemail drop, where you pick up your phone and you're like, wow, I didn't even hear my phone ring, but I got a voicemail. That's odd. Okay, here, let me listen to that. Okay, so that is what happens. And it's important to know, though, that with all of the cell phone marketing strategies that we're doing these days, is that there's an ever changing laws and privacy and the carriers, how well they is your message getting delivered or not. All of that's a moving target. The landscape of cell phone marketing is always changing. So just know that. If you plan on expanding into the cell phone marketing game, just keep your ear to the ground. Make sure that you're studying it for legality reasons and compliance, all of that, because you don't want to you don't want to accidentally or unknowingly do an illegal campaign. Okay, so just do your research and really specifically with the ringless voicemail drops. I've heard some horror stories out there, and that is exactly why we have a very, very specific process of how we how we scrub our list and the messaging that we put out with our ringless voicemails. And frankly, same goes for the text messaging. The text message program that we use is, it's called Lead Sherpa. And Lead Sherpa, why we use them as a text message platform is because they are hyper focused on compliance and playing the game by the rules. They have two full-time attorneys that work there at Lead Sherpa, and so everything that they do is they look through the eyes of compliance. They don't want any of their marketing clients, to get themselves in trouble. So their whole software is based around it, whether it's the message that you can send. When you remove people off your list, the system will not continue to market to them, even if you ask it to. There's a lot of just different things that Lead Sherpa does that creates a good environment for the text message marketing. And I get this question all the time. Well, what's your best marketing campaigns, and what's working that's really, or what's showing up as the next best thing? Cell phone marketing. That's the next best thing. Cell phone marketing. the better you are at cell phone marketing, the better your market, I mean, the better your results are going to be in general. It's just, that is the way it is. And so the other form of cell phone marketing is Facebook marketing. You know, how do we browse Facebook? Most of the time it's on our phones. So again, if you have Facebook ads, you're doing cell phone marketing. So it's a great place to be. You want to expand your efforts on cell phone marketing, period. That is where it's at. Okay. The other thing that we do with great accuracy, and I covered this a little bit before, but we use CallRail for all of our phone tracking. So we know based on what campaign, what is happening at any given moment, we know exactly how many phones, what phone numbers are ringing, how long each call is recorded, when they called. We can tag those calls. All of our reporting comes through CallRail. And man, this is super effective for all of your different reporting. This is exactly what a marketing report looks like from us is, you know, okay, based on this strategy, this is how many calls came in. Of those calls, how many were unique and how many of those were actually qualified leads. So we break all of that down right in our CallRail. It's a phenomenal program. If you're not using CallRail, definitely check that out. It's worth every penny and then some for serious marketers. Okay, this is I obsess over my CallRail activities and everything else. I manage all of our text messaging, everything within our CallRail. So it's a very flexible platform. It's frankly a marketer's dream is CallRail. It integrates with I haven't seen one CRM that it does not integrate with. So again, it integrates really, really well with CRM. So you can have, if somebody calls, most of the time you can have that call, the information, the caller ID and everything go right into your CRM. So there's no double filling of information or anything else. So really cool, flexible program there. The other thing that we're doing is with our Facebook ads. Now here's a couple examples of our Facebook ads that we're constantly running to our custom audience. So just to be very clear, we don't just put out Facebook marketing to a cold audience or to anybody and everybody. No, the list that we pulled off of PropStream that we skip traced, that is our custom audience. So we take that audience and we upload it into Facebook. Facebook determines how many of that list is a match on Facebook, and then that is our audience. So our ads will only be exposed to those people. So it's a very, very targeted list, ad, and ad spend. You know, ultimately it comes down to a dollar and cents thing. It's really, really expensive to use Facebook to a cold audience. Just your message going out there to anybody and everybody. That's really expensive. It's very cost effective to have a custom audience. So your marketing message is going specifically to who you want it to, that you've already determined they are a potential candidate. They have a house, they are in some sort of distress, or they have some ingredients that you are interested in working with them. Okay. The other thing that we do with our Facebook that's makes it very effective is that we started using messaging bots, so you can actually interact with our Facebook ads. So at the bottom of a Facebook ad, there will be a button that says, "Hey, you know, want more information?" Click, and if they click more information, then a messenger bot pops up, and it's a predetermined question, kind of like a survey or question that we have built ourselves. So we built the messaging sequence so that it will say, you know, "Hey, are you interested in selling your house?" If yes, if so, then they'll take them to the next question. If you're not, then it takes them, you know, great, we'll remove you from our list. If you are you interested in selling your house in the next 10 days, 30 days or 6 months, you know, and it does this kind of, well, it does this qualification questioning that allows you to obviously have the system further qualify the lead. And then you get notified if the lead interacts with the ad beyond a certain point. So then you get notified, bam, this person's gone through 4 questions with your ad. That is somebody that you're going to want to follow up with and reach out to. Okay. So having the system qualify your leads for you, huge advantage. Okay. The next thing is that we have everybody go land onto our ClickFunnels. So again, our ClickFunnel landing pages, these are landing pages that we can split test. So we can always be understanding what aspects of our landing pages are working the best for conversion ratios, whether that's colors, video, no video, headlines, whatever it is. We can always do really accurate split testing with our ClickFunnels landing pages. And we have a whole slew of different ClickFunnels templates that we have built that are kind of niche audience specific. So we have a foreclosure ClickFunnels page. We have an absentee owner ClickFunnels page. We have a probate ClickFunnels page. We have all of these different pages so that, again, when we're marketing to that client and they end up going to the landing page that we're directing them to, that message on the landing page is congruent with the other message that they saw previously and their pain point. Okay, so we're looking to connect with them on all levels. Okay, and the wonderful thing about ClickFunnels is that we can set it up so that we can retarget. So if somebody gets to our landing page and interacts, we can then retarget them around the web. So again, it's not just, even if they went to our landing page, they didn't even enter any other information or anything else, because of the cookie, we can now retarget them around the internet. So we'll start showing up in a whole variety of different ways, which is super important in adding to that omnipresent approach that we were talking about before. So again, these are all the building blocks to solid omnipresent approach that of a consistent marketing campaign. Okay, so here's the roadmap. One more time, another view of the roadmap. Starts with the data with PropStream, call rail tracking, so you know where all of the information is coming from as they respond to your marketing. Your direct mail piece, simple direct mail piece, your Facebook ads running to their custom audience, your text message or your Facebook bot interacting with them, and your text message, cell phone marketing to a landing page, all to a CRM. This is what it takes, connecting all of that together. And this is largely the spot where I see the most, struggle or failure or whatever you want to call it, broken system, is not having these connected. You might have them individually, almost operating in their own silo, but to have your system seamlessly connected is the difference maker. Okay, and having them all lead to each other consistently, all tracked, gives you good metrics. And when you have good metrics, then you can start making really smart marketing decisions based on what is working and what is not working. Okay, I can't emphasize this enough. Once you get all of this, all of those, your marketing message, and you get it, your omnipresence all set up, make sure it's tracked and into a database that you can have the metrics. Again, once you have the metrics, that's kind of like your GPS. That tells you, boom, that letter sucked. Don't send out that letter campaign anymore. Your text messages are getting X response rate, so do more of that. All of those micro decisions. This is where the answers come from. Okay, so again, when people ask me, well, what's the greatest and best marketing, and what do you do here, what do you do there? Okay, the answer is going to be different for everybody, largely, per your market, what's your goal, all of these things. So the best thing to do is just track your efforts so that you are continually moving forward and not wasting money on bad campaigns. Okay. And establishing your own company benchmarks or baseline of metrics so that you know what is good and what is not good, what is overperforming and what is underperforming. You got to establish your own baseline for you and your market. Establish your own benchmark or baseline. Once you've established your baseline, you can then say that was better or that was worse. This is an adjustment that we're watching and boom, it got better. Great. Keep going that one direction. Got to know your numbers, period. That is so, so critical. As you do that, then it allows this life cycle to exist. The testing, the tracking, the evaluating, and the improvement. This, again, this is the foundation of what we're talking about. So I want to bring this principle back up at the, towards the end of this presentation from a stance of all of these marketing campaigns or whatever marketing campaign is only as good as your ability to test, track, evaluate, and improve. Always. So be dedicated to this process, testing, tracking, evaluating, and improving, and your marketing will always, in theory, should always be getting better. You should always be making better decisions based on your results. So just most people don't do this. It's just the way it is. It's as simple of a concept as it is. This is a massive point of failure. Okay. And it's largely a massive point of failure because most people don't know how to connect each of these components so that they are getting the correct information. Okay. So I know it's easier said than done, but this is exactly how we do it, period. Okay. So again, I just want to highlight this one more time as a way of saying thank you. If you want my marketing blueprint that was on the screen that I shared here, I have it as a download on this page. If you want a detailed list of all the resources that we use, every single resource that we use, they're all here at realestatefunnelsystems.com/resources-links. Right there on the bottom of the page, you can see that URL. It'll take you to that page. We have trainings on these different resources on that page, so you can look at them, ask any questions, whatever it is. This is just, again, our way of saying thank you for being here, spending your time with us, and rocking and rolling. So that is a wrap, Joe. Hopefully that I didn't take too long through this process.
No, definitely not, man. I thought it was fantastic, and I have actually a couple of questions that came in. So are you cool answering a couple of them?
Let's do it.
So the first question is, once you have it dialed in, you did mention a little bit about NLP. How much of that do you think takes over once you're actually getting good calls? And how do you advise people to improve upon, I guess, their closing?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. The NLP principles, the minute you start personally interacting with them, NLP is a huge factor no matter what. Okay, it's whether it's working for you or against you, generally speaking. So I think it's fair to say that in a general sense we lack awareness on this topic. So being sharp and understanding your own language patterns just allows a higher level of awareness, which then allows you to influence the person on the other side of the phone at a better rate or more comfortably, or build better rapport, build trust. All of those things are, come through the communication. So NLP is huge. It's massive when you start building rapport, when you're building that connection with the seller, with the client. And so that's where we spend a lot of our, quote unquote NLP training is once we start interacting with the client live.
Okay. And I'm just curious, do you have any systems that you've used kind of like in order to practice that? I know that, like, I remember just feeling terrible when I first was getting seller phone calls, and I just had to work my way through it. But I feel like it can, cost a lot of money to get good at it.
Yeah, it really can. So resources, there's a book that's on my desk right now. It's The Unfair Advantage: Sell with NLP. And it's Dwayne Lacken is the author. And super good book. It's not just about NLP, but it's really about kind of like tactical sales and developing good questions. So I would highly recommend this book. And so I guess to sum this up, study it. If you want to get better in that spot, study NLP, study sales, the art of rapport, all of those topics. And but also know that it's practice, man. So much of it is just practice. And so not being afraid of getting out there and getting on the phones and doing the best you can.
Cool. And let's see here. What would you advise someone to do if they only had $1,000 to start with?
Great question. What I would do is I would buy a high quality list and then do a text message campaign. That's what
Interesting.
Yep. The text message campaigns are getting the highest response rates, and they're the cheapest to deploy. So when budget is a concern, I can't tell anybody enough that text message is the way to go. It's just by far the most efficient channel.
Okay. And like, do you have any specifics as far as like what type of lists you would pull?
Yeah. Okay. A list that I would pull is, so I would pull people with at least 20% equity. I would narrow it down by the house size. So I would, I like 900 to 3,200 square feet. I would do people that have owned their property for more than 5 years. I would only market to people or to properties that are at least 20 years old or older. Okay, so you just by doing that, you're narrowing it down to, okay, I know exactly what type of house I want to buy. I know the people that are typically going to sell, they've owned their house for 10 years, and they have equity, and they have a lien on their property. Okay, those are the ingredients that I would be honing in on, and I would continue to add filters to my marketing list until the size was small enough that I could afford it. Okay, that's how
Gotcha.
I narrow my list all the way down, and so it's so refined that if I can only afford to market to 1,000 people, then man, I just make sure that it's a very, very targeted 1,000 people.
Cool. I think that's super beneficial. I think we'll close up shop there. One more time, how can people find you, get a hold of you, follow you more?
Oh man, find me on Facebook is a great place. You can our website is realestatefunnelsystems.com. You can of course, in my name, Erik Bee, ErikBee, last name. Search me on Facebook if you want to private message me or something like that. It's a great avenue to do it. Or you can email me, Erik at realestatefunnelsystems.com. And would love to have what I do with clients, that I can offer a strategy session, so I can kind of look over your shoulder, see what you're doing in your marketplace, and offer any suggestions like that. I'm happy to do that with anybody that wants to kind of take their marketing to the next level, or even acquisitions. So the way you're evaluating your properties, if you think you could get better in that arena, that's another spot that I could potentially help. So just reach out, man, raise your hand, and I'd love to talk shop.
Cool. Guys, I hope you realize how much value that is that Erik has to offer. So, Erik, really appreciate that. And if people don't take you up on that, they're absolutely crazy. So,
Well, I appreciate that, Joe, and I appreciate everybody's time on the call. So thanks again. Hopefully this got you a little bit of value, and you can you saw behind the curtains of what we're doing to drive, hundreds of leads per month. So that is it.
cool. Well, thanks again, man. I really appreciate your time, and we will talk soon.
Sounds great. See you guys.